Talk to me. Telemedicine. If we can call in versus going somewhere, especially with Arkansas being a rural state, would that differ or would that impact education when it comes to HIV? Come on, Arkansas residents. Come on, sisters.
This is Jeanette. I would definitely say yes, because, I mean, yeah, I mean, it coming to your door is much better. I think that people would be more open to that, especially if they have that fear.
Could telemedicine work when it comes to HIV education? Like if there was like a hotline maybe, or a 800 number I can call?
Definitely, because there are some people that's just not going to come in. So if you want to get the education out there, I would say having the various ways is the best way. Having those different options. I might not can't get nobody to come in, but I can get them on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Get them to make a call.
So even expanding telemedicine past just the medication, but maybe telemedicine to see what it looks like when it comes to HIV education. Like a hotline, people can call, answer some questions, and then be directed maybe to a center near them for further information or either further testing.
And earlier there was a comment about not having access to healthcare. I know a lot of people with healthcare that won't come, they won't go. Mm-hmm. They have access, but they're not going to come in. They're not even coming in for the preventives.
Okay.
But they might do it if it's a telephone. Now it might be the copays.
True, that too, because they are ridiculous at times. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody else? I know I saw a chat. I didn't get a chance to see what it was. Okay, let's see. Oh, they talk about the national June 27th being the national HIV testing. They got some information in the chat about that. Okay, so taking everything that we talked about, the barriers of access to care, the stereotypes, the stigma, PrEP and PEP, what would a project look like, or what would a campaign look like, especially if it's centered specifically cisgendered heterosexual Black women? What would a system, what would a campaign, ideally in your eyes, what would it look like to attract and retain the attention of Black women in Arkansas from prevention and education aspect? What would that look like? Meaning, would it be TVs, commercials, Facebook ads? Talk to me, because we're using this information to create something that's going to be impactful for this community. So we want your input. So talk to me. What would that look like? From colors to music to, if I could pay Beyonce to be a part of it, like what would that look like? Who, what, when, where, why, what color?
I would definitely say bringing in the artists.
So when we think about on a local level, is there anyone locally that will get people to lean in, or statewide?
I don't know about other parts of the state, but I know in Central Arkansas, Tawana Campbell, Nikki Parrish, Dee Dee Jones, I think. So there's a lot of local artists that I believe would bring women, Black women. Now, whether or not, now the younger ones, because these people sing like groove and music and not the younger people music.
Okay.
So I don't know as far as like, as far as younger artists, I don't know of any local younger artist.
But no, that's a good start, because if we got our aunties and our mamas and our older sisters out there, you know, would the knowledge not trickle down?
What about Rodney Block? Have you all heard of Rodney Block?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
No one heard of Rodney?
I have. I heard of Rodney.
Okay, 'cause Rodney, he brings in everybody, all type of people comes in, for Rodney. And right now he's going around doing like in neighborhoods, just people book him and he goes and they play. And you have people just coming from everywhere, to hear him due to the pandemic. He just kind of go around the neighborhoods and they stay far away, the distance, and he's good. He's very good.
That's good. Artists, what other how else could we get people's attention as it relates to educating? Bring in artists.
Social media is a great platform. I think that again, the more that we think about our communities within our community, and people listening to and looking at the things that people that they know that are close to them that post or share, even this invite today, it's because I saw it on social media. So I think that that's just another way. So even if the campaign or ad or whatever it is, definitely would be something that I think social media has a greater reach, especially now when everyone's, you're home. So a lot of people are just focusing on social media, but on the same lines, I definitely have heard your voice a million times on that commercial. So I recognized it when I heard it, but social media would be one of the fastest, quickest ways, I think, to reach the masses.
So when we engage these artists, what are these artists doing? Like, what are they doing? What are they saying? Are they, are they giving facts? Are they getting tested? What are they doing to garner attention? What are they doing?
Of course, they would need to be tested themselves, to tell about that. And then maybe they could have people, younger people that, give their testimony. That would be, great.
So these artists would they be giving facts about HIV? Would they be giving talking points? Would they be giving, compelling stories to get people to lean in and pay attention about the importance of HIV testing and education? Or would they simply just be getting tested?
I think that the artist's purpose, of course, in addition to getting tested, would also to essentially be the liaison between the knowledge that we're trying to bring to the community and the community themselves. Because just like we were saying earlier, when we talked about, is information, is the knowledge enough? I think the artist's responsibility in this conversation would be to help bridge that gap, to make it more known, to actually give it a face. Because sometimes we hear the stories, but we don't always see the people. And I think that if we're able to bring that to the forefront a little bit more with the platform of the artist, then that better supports the mission.
Thank you for that. So it's almost like marrying the message with the artist platform and leveraging their relationships, their followings, their personality, et cetera, to further the message that the HIV campaign has. I'm gonna say this. My background is marketing. Make it pretty. Make it eye-catching. Spend money on graphics. So it's something that we pay attention to. Because so many times when it comes to HIV awareness and education campaigns, it's not eye-catching. It's thrown together, it's haphazard. It's nothing that people will pay attention to, when it gets lost in the shuffle, especially on Instagram, where Instagram whole thing is just a catalog. It's supposed to be pretty pictures, double tap. I read what's on it, double tap. If it's not grabbing my attention, I'm not going to pay attention to it. So I think in this campaign, wherever it looks like it needs to be pretty, and not just pretty, but pretty in a way that it garners the attention of the demographic that we're trying to reach. Like if it's something for sisters, it needs to look like something that we like. Something we're going to lean into. Don't kente cloth to the death, but make it to like, that's pretty, because I think a lot of times we look over the marketing aesthetics when it comes to campaigns.
we have a comment down here that says, getting with local hairdressers, nail techs, or makeup artists to bring more women together as it relates to a campaign.
I think that's awesome because
Yeah.
all those places are part-time therapists. And when I first was diagnosed, I lost all my hair. And I went straight to my hairdresser. And before I knew I was HIV positive, I was like, it's a stress, and we didn't know what it was. But if I had known, or if, you know, I know the CDC and AMCO has had a campaign where they had capes and they had stuff for the barbers and the beauticians. And they had some type of logo that prompted the conversation to talk about HIV, because a lot of times we talk about everything in the shop. But wouldn't it be awesome, you know, if behind you, you know, you talking about what you did the night before and the reason why you in the beauty shop this morning. And, you know, and she like, well, sis, you know, do you know his status? Did you share your status?
Okay.
Girl, now, you know, you shouldn't. So y'all ain't had that conversation. Girl, here's a pamphlet. Make sure you go get you some condoms or this and the third. Next time, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, I
So
have
I think that's awesome.
another comment that says get local tattoo artists involved as well.
Why? Because you know it's kind of steeped in stigma, but I'm saying why. Whoever said it, tell me why. Say more.
They may type more in a minute.
Okay, but say more.
You know, I have a question as we get maybe a little bit more information on why tattoo artists involvement may be good, especially for Black women. But as we kind of talk about the younger generation, it sometimes it's hard to reach the kids, but less harder to reach college students. So do we believe or feel that organizations within colleges are making a difference? Are they still making the same difference that they used to? Is that a good place to start? I know as a Black female that is actually a part of a Greek organization, you know, are they still relevant and present in the collegiate, right? In the collegiate environment, and can they make a difference?
I say, being a Black woman who's also a part of a Black Greek-led organization, have been for 21 years, listen, you know, when you get active undergrad chapters and you empower them, if we give the message, to me, and this is just my head, if the packaging is presented to the grad chapters, and there are service projects or there are talking points that have to trickle down to, you know, this is, you know, your 45 to 55 age group. This is your 30 to 40. These are like action items or things that these groups can participate in. And then for your undergrad, for your youth, if there are programs and campaigns already rolled out to where the information has had to be disseminated, that information can then be transplanted from the governing bodies of the organizations, be it Greek or otherwise, to those auxiliary groups and those younger age groups in a way that's uniform and the messaging is the same. That's my 3 cents. I'm gonna stop talking. Sorry.
And this is Jeanette. They can also be used to get your numbers when you're having those events. Like if you're having an event, you can definitely use those organizations to bring the people, to get the people there as well as the artists.
Kind of reminds me what the comment about, you know, getting peers, basically getting people in, you know, the same setting to start having those conversations with one another. So I do have a question, because I would really love to hear from you guys. So I have a question. You got on here and maybe you thought to yourself, man, this is a great conversation to have, you know, Black women talking about HIV. And this would be awesome for us to get together and discuss. My question to the group would be, what did you want to hear tonight? Or what did you feel like was important to say as it relates to Black women and HIV, whether it's education, awareness, whatever it is, what's important to you?
We got Destiny. We got Tomisha. We got
This
Courtney.
is Jeanette. what was important for me is always to have the knowledge to help other people, because when someone comes to me, I'm always that person that somebody would say, you know, we need this information. And I like to know, I like to have that at my hands, at the tip of my hand. Or if someone calls me and say, where do I need to go testing? So it was important to me to just say we need to do more with getting information out and letting people know, because it might not be the people that are out there testing positive. It might be someone that can get that information to them that helps them out. It might not be them.
So, but as Black heterosexual women, why is this important for us?
It's important for me because just my personal, my backdrop. I was diagnosed at 36, and I did everything I was supposed to do to not become a statistic. And because somewhere along the line, awareness and knowledge failed me, I'm not saying it's like not for a pity party, but I became a statistic. And because I can look back over what I did, the missteps, the things I didn't know or chose not to pay attention to, I then turned around to my sisters like, listen, let me show you, like, be transparent to help make sure that you don't do the same thing. Because our stories kind of all run parallel in some sort of type, shape, form, or fashion. So it's important to me because I noticed before I was always an ally. I've been working with HIV since I was 18. I went from ally to advocate once I was, diagnosed. But seeing how we get lost in the shuffle, seeing how that we're not centered when it comes to HIV messaging, prevention, education, seeing how Black women have always been deemed worthy enough to do the work, but we're not worthy enough to be centered in that work, bothers me. But there's no way to make sure that we get stakeholders involved if Black women across the board, both negative and positive, are not raising their voices together to say, hey, this is a miscarriage of justice when it comes to HIV. Hear us, this what needs to be done. So that's why it's important to me, because we are so often we're at the tables to do the work, but we ain't at the tables for that work to be beneficial to us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ladia, I have a question for you. I think you're just probably one in a million that was ready to tell your story and help other Black women. What do we do for the Black women out there that may find out that they are HIV positive, but they're embarrassed to share their status? And we need to remove the embarrassment from having HIV. How do we do that? And that goes for women, it goes for men too. Some people talked about the trust. Some people are just embarrassed for other folks to know. So how do we remove that?
I say, and I'm glad you asked that question, but no, we have to get to the point that we understand that everyone is not going to be as loud as me. I do understand that I have been particularly graced to walk this walk and to do what I do. What I would like to see is that there are campaigns, money, and funding put in place to support those like me, to support those across who may have ideas like HIV, CBUs run by people who have been diagnosed, to, what is the word? And to help support those who may be embarrassed. Meaning, I have a lot of women who I meet with one-on-one who might not ever come to an event, might not come to something I'm doing, but they'll go to lunch. A lot of times I'll pay for their lunch. And because everybody is in different spaces, we have to appreciate where they are. And even if I spend time with you, talk to you, remain in relationship and fellowship with you, just to the point that you're no longer embarrassed on a very micro level. Meaning I'm no longer embarrassed where I can share this with my mom, or I can share this with my soon-to-be boyfriend, or I can share this with someone. Your story or being out loud with your story does not have to take a national platform, because we understand that as Black women, we're so juxtaposed against everything that we already have all type of stigmas that we have to fight against. Who want to put this extra stigma on top of them? So maybe I just need to get to the point that you're comfortable just in your own skin, because it's not so much about being embarrassed. How can I help you accept your diagnosis and accept it to the point that you remain? I applaud you for being consistent with care. I applaud you for going in, every 3 to 6 months to get your checkup. I applaud you to walk into CVS and stop going through the drive-through and getting your medicine and hold your head up high. I applaud you to start dating again. So those smaller steps to where your embarrassment is eradicated on a very micro level. But that's where it's the most impactful, because you then influence your own sphere of influence. And your godchild or your child or your daughter or your mom be like, you know what? She doing her damn thing in spite of. So you've inspired me. And if you can live through this and I see you on this level, then I know that it's important to do X, Y, and Z.
That's good. I
Thank
wanted to comment earlier too, where I think somebody said, sometimes you just don't want to know the answer. You're scared of the result. You're scared of the result.
But I think through education and through even smaller forums like this, like I pray that all the women who join in, go back and say, hey, y'all, Arkansas was doing X, Y, and Z when it comes to HIV. Be on the lookout. National Testing Day is on June 27th. Let's make it a girls' outing. Let's take a group trip. Take auntie, take, niece, nephew, take whoever. Let's go. We're going to go get tested. It's just to the point that the knowledge gets out there to where it's, it's causing little fires.
Yeah.
Because, you think locally, you act locally, think locally.
Do we have any comments, any questions?
Because that's all the questions I got, because we answered just about everything that's on here from, stakeholders. We talked about health departments. Anything that you all like to see in the state of Arkansas when it comes to your elected officials?
I would like to just make this mention, because I don't know, I know that those of us who work with the Department of Health closely know this, but do you all know that none of your tax dollars that you pay in the state of Arkansas goes to HIV care in the state of Arkansas? None of the money that you pay goes to prevention work or anything like that as it relates to HIV. STDs, yes. HIV, no.
Why, Yolanda?
Because the legislator said that they can't. I mean, other than that question, other than that answer, I really don't know. I just know that none of the tax money that is paid in the state, we don't receive any state dollars for HIV, whether it's on care side or prevention side. All the money that we get, so all the work that Future Builders do, if they're not getting private donations, if they're getting grants from us, it's all grant federally funded money. And I bring that up because I want to challenge you all that if you have a connection, somebody's ear you can get in, somebody's coattail you can pull, start having those conversations. I know I'm probably wrong and it's going to be recorded and I hope I don't get fired, but I will be in the post office talking and they'll ask me, how was your day at work today? Oh, it was doing fine. If people come in, girl, we don't get funded. Now I told this post office worker this 100 million times, but the other person that came in don't know that there's not any money going towards HIV in the state. So, we have to be, I guess, deliberate and having conversations in public places so that it fall on the right ears. Because to me, that's an issue. Everybody else get money except for HIV. Smoking, diabetes, breast cancer, everybody get money except for HIV.
Wow.
That's right. Okay, any questions, comments? Did you learn anything that you didn't know before?
I think someone had, I'm looking at the comment section,
Yeah.
the chat section, and we've got people saying how much they enjoyed it, and it was an eye opener. So I'm just really glad that something, was said tonight that, would help other people see, ways possibly to start thinking about stopping the spread of HIV in our state and in our community. So, I'm just grateful that people learned something and shared something, because we're all in this together. I mean, I sound like COVID-19, we're all in it together, but we are. We are all in this together. We need to stop the spread of HIV in our community and our state, and we've got to do it together. We've got to hold hands and do it together. So I appreciate everybody's openness and information that you shared, and the fact that you gained some knowledge, and go out and share what you heard tonight.
Okay, and we had a question. Is there a resource guide for additional sites other than the health department? Is that additional sites for testing? What was that question? Aaron, are you trying to say something? I see that can you guys hear Aaron? Is it just me?
I can't hear her. It's like she's trying to say, he or she may be trying to say something. Are you muted, Aaron?
No, she's not muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, we can now.
Okay. Yes, I asked, was there an additional resource guide for testing sites other than the health department? Because I guess when I was doing testing back a few years ago, there's always been a stigma attached. And I apologize, I got on late because I was working, but the stigma with the health department, I would have people coming in for testing. I'm glad y'all doing this over here, because if I go to the health department and get it done, before I get home, everybody gonna know. So I was just wondering, because I've been away from community outreach for a few years, and I was just wondering, is there a resource guide for other testing sites available, especially like in rural communities or in the Delta?
Well, if I may, I know about R-Care. My husband works there. He coordinates the prevention and outreach program. His name is Danny Harris. And they have offices, clinics all over the state where you can get tested. You can enroll in the Ryan-wide program. They have a lot of resources available for persons. And they have group meetings, support meetings. They have been having meetings on Zoom lately. So they have a lot of resources for persons who need mental health support. And you can also get assistance with transportation if you don't have transportation to come to the clinic. So you can make contact with him directly or with any of the R-Care offices if you know of persons who need to be tested or persons who are positive and are unable to get into care, or persons who need support, because the support groups are very helpful. I try to be a part of them. And I know how important it is for new persons, because when persons are newly diagnosed, they're very scared. They don't know what to expect. And the groups contain people who have been diagnosed from the early age, from the 80s all the way up. And I remember hearing more than one person saying, I am so happy I am here because I am scared, and now I'm here and I'm seeing persons who have been surviving this for 30 years and more. So I know that I'm not dying. And in addition to that, we have a group that caters just to women. So we try to address matters related to women. We have the nurses from the clinic who try to put together resources. And we even have like nutrition topics that we discuss and things that are relevant. So I would encourage you to reach out to our care or reach out to Danny personally, and if you need testing, if you need resources.
Also, Aaron, and I know your question is, is there a resource guide out there?
Yeah.
But Future Builders does testing as well. Outside of Bryce, we actually go into the community, do testing. Our outreach community, Cornelius Maben, does testing at his office as well, and linkage to care, and all of that in Little Rock, Arkansas. So there are a lot of places that offer, and this is free testing. But I will get with Arkansas Department of Health. I'm going to be contacting you for your participation with us tonight. I'll be contacting you, and during that contact, I will be sure to let you know of any information that I've found out to answer your question as it relates to an actual resource guide, because I think that's a huge question for many people in the state of Arkansas, a one-stop shop to determine who offers what. I know we've discussed that a lot. I discussed that with Yolanda at one point. Yolanda, we discussed that during our HIV testing.
And it may be, it may be I just been out the loop, so that's why I asked.
Aaron and anyone else who was wondering, this is Yolanda again with the Department of Health. We actually have a team member that's working on a comprehensive guide or resource manual for the state of Arkansas. So although it is not available just yet, that is something that has come up several times in these calls that we've been having. So we know that it is a need. I don't know what part of the state you're in, but I also know that Lee County Co-op down around Marianna.
Yeah, I know they
down around Marianna, just good and country right there.
Yeah. Wait a minute now, Miss Yolanda.
But I know that LaFay and Melissa, I believe is her name, they got trained through our technology class, and I know that they offer testing as well. So if any of you all are looking to volunteer with organizations, they like Future Builders, Lee County Co-op. I'm not for sure if Our Care does a lot of volunteers because they have a lot of staff. Community developers, different organizations like that, you can actually get with them and they will get you the information so you can come through the testing class and become certified testers under their umbrella. So if that's something that anyone is looking to do, and Alyssa and I teach that class, and we provide you with a lot of education to help you with navigating the conversation with individuals that come in to be tested.
We thank you so much, Yolanda. Thank you very much, Lydia, for sharing your story, for facilitating our focus group this evening, and for being so transparent. It is very much needed in the conversations that we're having about HIV. And we really appreciate you this evening.
I would have rather been nowhere else. So thank y'all for inviting me to be a part.
Yes,
yes.
Let me add something, because you can't see this, Miss Ebony. because
Yeah.
it's coming to me directly. But Mr. Maven would like for you all to know that there is free HIV screening daily at 8615 Chico Road, which is the Living Room Wellness Resource Center. And for more information on ending the epidemic, you can go to hiv.gov.
Okay.
Seemed like he said something else that came
Yeah.
to just me.
And there are additional comments too in our chat area, where Mr. Maben has put www.arkansasraps.com as a resource website for the state. Courtney Spencer has also included that Walgreens provides HIV testing as well, because we were just discussing that. So I think those are just about the last two comments there. And then also Ms. Carter said that she has seen yard signs on her street about stopping HIV. So we're working. The state of Arkansas is really working. So before we get off the call, though, we do have a few things that we need to do. So just be patient with us. I have 26 people there are 28 of us on the call, but I only have 26 listed. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the participants that I have. And if I do not call your name, please let me know. I have Miss Madeline Carter, Catherine Donald, Destiny Driver, Tamisha Gant, Yolanda Gamillion, Aaron Handley, Aaron McRae, Antoinette Parks, Sonia Ruffin, Lynette Simpson Williams, Jeanette Williams Smith, Pamela Rather, Frances Harris, Pamela Abrams, Carlisha Murray, and Tice Scroggins. Is there a participant whose name I did not call?
Jocelyn Jackson.
Oh, I have you here, Miss Jackson. Anyone else?
Maloney Harris, but I was late. I just got in like 20 minutes ago. Yeah.
And you shared some
sorry.
very good information. So thank you for getting on when you did, Ms. Harris.
I'm inviting all you ladies to our women's group. It's very helpful. Yeah.
And so my count now matches the count on here. So I think I have everyone. What we're going to do, as you know, we're going to be providing you guys with the Walmart, $20 Walmart card and a $10 Subway card for your participation tonight. In order to receive those cards, you will need to complete a survey as a participant for this focus group. The survey is very short, maybe 8 to 10 questions, simple yes, no, click here, click there kind of questions. Takes participants no more than about 2 minutes. Once you are finished with that, the last screen on your survey, you will need to screenshot that and send it back to me. So what's going to happen is I'm going to use the email that you provided during your registration. I'm going to send you the survey link. You will be able to then take the survey, screenshot that last question, or I'm sorry, the completion page, send it back to me, and I'll know you have completed your survey. Also, in that email, when I send you the survey link, I will ask that you send me your address so that when you complete your survey, I can send you your gift cards. All of this goes pretty quickly, and so I expect that if I send that survey link this evening, you guys complete it within the next day or so, I will be sending the cards out by the end of the week. So are there any questions as it relates to how the remainder of this process works? Okay, thank you again so much. I want to acknowledge also Dr. Harris, Frances Harris is on the call. She was not on the call at the beginning, but she joined us a little later. She's another one of our board members. Our board is so supportive of what we do, and we just really appreciate you so much. If there are no other questions, if Ms. Conley doesn't have anything else, or Yolanda or Lydia, we will.
No. I'm good.
Okay, we'll end our session. Thank you again, each and every one of you. I will be sending out that link here shortly, and you can get that back to me as soon as you can. Thank you so much.
Have
Thanks,
a good night,
everybody.
y'all.
Hi,
Good night.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
This was a tough one for me technically. Do you know that the system put me out of the meeting?
Oh, really?
Not
Yeah,
once, but twice.
Mm.
Did y'all see the commercial? The commercial played.
I didn't see it.
There was audio, but there was no video.
Okay, well, I saw both the audio and video, and then the system stopped, and I was like, what's happening here? And
It was the screen was just dark.
yeah, then everything went dark, and I was like, oh my God. So I'm trying to get back in there. And then I finally got back there, and then again, it came back and put me out again. So anyway, we got through it. But
Yes, I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was a great one.
that was
I thought it was a really good one. Some of our audience was pretty quiet, but we had some talkers. But I think on this one, we discussed some things that we didn't discuss on the other.